Thank you, guys. Why don't we start off with a quick round of introduction for all of you?
Hi, I'm Chakradhar. Chakri is a shorter name,
Yeah, Chakri.
easier one.
Everyone knows him as Chakri.
So, Country Delight is a direct to home consumer brand delivering fresh food essentials directly from the farmer all the way to the doorstep of the customer. We've been around for 10, 12 years now, bootstrapped for a good 6 years. Started our growth journey in the last 6 years. I worked with Saharsh in the past as well. Uh, we are currently operating in about 17 cities, delivering milk first, and after that all the other food essentials directly to about more than half a million, roughly 600,000 households on a daily basis. That's a little about Country Life.
Hi, my name is Deep. I ran this brand called Sirona. We were a female hygiene focused company. We identified a lot of unaddressed issues that women faced right from puberty to menopause and used our unique products to solve them. Last year, we exited the business to Good Glam Group for about 400 odd crores.
Hey, hi everyone. Milind there. I represent Delhivery. I'll be joining Delhivery as Senior Vice President. I'll be looking at the D2C and quick commerce business at Delhivery. So you know about Delhivery, it's India's largest logistics company. We've done more than billion transactions, recently listed. So yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, thanks for that, guys. So, quickly to kick off with you, Chakri. So, Country Delight has been an example of how to actually build a great product which has both product innovation and it ties up to the business model, right? And that's how maybe we think about a competitive advantage going forward. So, why don't you share the Country Delight, how you build that through?
Um, so when I'm a finance professional for the first 4 5 years of my career and started Country Light with a friend of mine, and me, both of us and Anup are also batchmates. All three of us were batchmates from Indore. So when we started Country Delight, the idea was to we've saved up a bunch of money. We had some capital we wanted to risk, but not blow it all up very quickly. So the idea was to build a very stable recurring business model. And during my earlier days, at least, I found that businesses which have strong retention have good recurring revenue. With that basic thought in mind, we sort of started Country Delight with the idea that hey, milkman habit is a very good habit. If you can give, and milk quality was not so good when we started, and if you can give great quality milk uh, to customers out there at a premium which is not too high, and own the supply chain and distribution because it's a low margin business, you will hence get better control over the product, and through supply chain innovation you can fundamentally give a superior product, superior value proposition to the customer. And once your value proposition is superior, naturally customers will take to it. Was the original thought around which Country Delight was built. And the advantage it had over time was once you got your core product right, you can sell many products around the core product with the same promise. And today, what we stand for, which took us 10, 11 years to at least communicate it, was that living better is what we stand for. We stand for helping our customers, helping India live better through giving good quality products to our customers. And that sort of become the guardrail and the passion around which we're building what we build today.
Yeah, I think that's the product uniqueness, the superior quality milk, along with your supply chain, which you have cracked so beautifully, and even the subscription part of it, which I think really ties up to how Country Delight, I feel, has been greatly built. Like on the product innovation front, right? So we have seen multiple products move as have that first mover advantage, right? Getting into the market, right? So Deep, why don't you tell us about how that worked out for you at Sirona since you introduced multiple new products to the women's hygiene category, right? And how that can be built into a category.
Well, I think people keep discussing moats all the time. So the way we started the business was we'll just look at the problem that our consumers are facing, and we'll try to be the best ones at solving that problem. That is the thesis. And when you keep that as the core, and you keep listening to your consumers, you keep getting very good feedback. So our first product was this product called Pee Buddy. It helped women stand and pee. Now, was there a need for a product like this? If I ask all the ladies in the house, do you find clean toilets when you're traveling? Raise your hands if you do. You find clean toilets? I'll come with you. Yeah. So I'm saying, so there was so many of these insights that we were getting from our consumers that there are no clean toilets. For period pain, the products were still the same old hot water bottles or painkillers. There were no product for rashes that women were getting. So I think the game that we cracked fairly well at Sirona with almost no funding was we would listen to consumers and bring in the product the fastest. And that is what gave Sirona this entire puberty to menopause journey, which started with one product, listened to the consumers, and then kept solving one need after the another. So that's what we did, and that's how the business was built.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's quite interesting. So the product innovation with the agility of bringing them to market, right? That's an interesting piece. Now, what Chakri also highlighted the two pieces. One was product innovation, which Deep talked about. The second is the actual distribution, the supply chain behind it. So, from delivery, how do you help brands uh, bring that to market, and how do you fit in the whole piece of the puzzle?
Sure, sure. So I'll talk about delivery, what they do as of now. And of course, I'll also
And
talk about the journey.
Milind is being humble. He has run two startups as well before, so he has used delivery
Yep. Yep.
himself. So yeah,
So
please.
interestingly, I was also the third employee of Delivery way back in 2012 and had a startup journey. And then, of course, I've come back. So that's about me. So about delivery. So basically, what we do is right now, any brand which wants to go live in India, we can help them get started in 20,000 pin codes in a single go. Do a single tech integration, and we are live. We can run warehouses for them. We can do fulfillment. We can help brands ship to Amazons and Flipkarts of the world. We can help these brands deliver to Blinkit and Zeptos of the world, basically right at their dark stores to that level. Of course, we are live in 20,000 pin codes, as I said, and we can help brands source from China. We have global logistics business. So best thing about delivery is that it's a plug and play system. We have deep integrations. Of course, in the last 13, 14 years of the journey, the company has evolved. They have seen data. They have machine learning. They know where to open branches, where to open warehouses. They know how to handle capacity. So, for example, Diwali is there. It's a sale period. Hiring, scaling operations up, scaling operations down post the festive season. Everything happens in a very much automatic way. So, from distribution perspective, it's a simple plug and play solution for any brand out there.
Thanks for that, Milind. I think it's an interesting play, and we as VCs as well like to see, and I was talking about it earlier as well, which is moats or durable competitive advantages, right? So, and how do VCs track that? We look at, let's say, something which has a sustained high return on invested capital, or sustained high margins, or maybe a growing and higher market share, right? So how do you, Chakri, think about moats in general, and how should founders go about thinking building their moats? Maybe how did you identify that this is going to be a moat for Country Delight, and how should founders think about it?
To be honest, the word moats I was not familiar with for a very long time, but it came more from thinking that, you don't want to die, you want to survive as long as possible, and what is the best way to go about it. And it kept evolving, but the one thing is, if you have to give customers good value always, and that is the first and the foremost rule. And the second thing is your value replaceable very quickly? Whatever you're doing, is it replaceable very quickly? Can someone come and replicate it very quickly? So if the answer for those two things is like, it takes time for someone to do what you're doing, and it takes more time and you whatever you're giving to customer is genuine value which the customer needs. It's not something that the customer doesn't need. You at least have something in place as a business. Over time, as you grow, the moats multiply. That is something that at least I have learned. When you start, it's more about the beginning use case and how do you go from 0 to 1 or A to B, uh, and you survive and pass through that phase uh, uh, as soon as possible. But once you go to a 0 to 1, and you've established yourself, it's very important to sustain your competitive advantage, because as you grow there'll be many people who'll observing what you're doing and they will want to do a similar thing, and nothing it's definitely possible. So you always have to think ahead of the curve and try to solve the next few problems to increase your competitive advantage over time. So moat is something, in my view, it varies over time, it varies on the stage of the business that you're in. Now at Country Delight, what we think of as moats having evolved over 12 years today is one, the brand itself is a very big moat. It takes years to build trust on a brand which says I stand for consistently better quality, and it takes time for customers to believe it for years together. So that is something which no one can come and create in 2 3 years. The second biggest moat for us is our supply chains. We have 400 products. We have supply chains in 11 states, all in perishable products, which is very unique and very complex in a country like India. Now, so for someone to do that, even with unlimited amount of money, it will take them a few years to to get to it. And then third is how you own your customer, what personalization, customization you build with your customer. How do you solve the next few problems? How do you become the only reliable partner for your customer to give everything that helps them live better? So that is how we are thinking today about moats. I don't know if a few years later what it will be, but it keeps varying in my view.
Yeah, you talked about different moats at different stages. That's very interesting. I think, Deep, you talked about product innovation and getting the product quickest or in the most agile way to the market, right? How do you feel about what are your thoughts about distribution and acquisition of customer, what channels to go through, and how can, let's say, people in the audience, founders, optimize for that?
Well, I think the answer would vary at what stage of the business you are at. Uh, Initial phase, I think the focus for me would always stay on the acquisition. Like we get the consumer first, crack the consumer first. Understand what all problems are they facing, and be as much in touch as you can, and make them as your brand ambassador. So initial phase for me, the strategy for us was, let's just acquire more consumers and keep serving them as well as you can, and then you build distribution. It's almost like a marriage of sorts. Initially you date and ensure that you've impressed them enough, and then they'll go and become your brand ambassadors. And as you grow, I think you double down on distribution to say that wherever they are shopping, we should be available. So in journey wise, initial phase is about acquisition for us, and then distribution.
So acquired and then distribution. Now, Milind, you will be handling this piece, and I know it from our chats internally that delivery is getting into the quick commerce route as well, and that's quite a big play as to what solves part of that distribution as well. How do you see it will play out for brands on quick commerce, new age brands, of course?
So if I talk about quick commerce, I think one thing is certain: consumer preferences have changed. I think in last 2 years, nobody wants 2 day, 3 day, 4 day delivery anymore. So at Delhivery, what we are doing is right now we are getting into our own, as in we are building our own quick commerce business line. We are building our own network of dark stores. So this has already gone live. This is live in South India. We have, I think, launched like 20, 25 odd dark stores already, where these are multi-client facilities where clients can come, they can stock their products, pick, pack, dispatch. Everything happens in as quick as 5 minutes, and the delivery eventually to the end customer happens in as quick as 2 hours. So matlab, anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours. That's the type of SLA, the timelines we are achieving. Uh, so we'll of course go expand this on a top-down manner. So hopefully in next probably 6 to 8 months, this will go live in top 12, 15 or cities of the country, and eventually it'll expand based on. So for us, of course, matlab, now we are a public company. We need to be profitable. So we of course cannot launch network in 50 cities in a state, go and just anticipate and wait that okay we'll get business there. So it's a planned expansion where we of course work very closely with our strategic clients, we work with our brands, and we expand in that top down manner. Of course, I think quick commerce is critical. It is something we need to do. So yeah.
And Chakri, I see on the Countrylite app that you have forayed into the quick commerce piece as well yourself. What are your thoughts? Would love to hear them.
No, so when quick commerce came about 3 years back, from the day one, at least because at some level we are also into logistics and supply chain and hyper local logistics. So we saw very quickly that this was a service that customers appreciated irrespective of the cost. And at the same time, we didn't want to become a quick commerce player. That was never our game plan or goal. That is not our game plan or goal. But being in a business where you are giving food essentials directly to your customer through a morning delivery format, which is 90-95% of the business, there are these 7-10% use cases where customers need on the go. There is sometimes you need something in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we already had the distribution network. We have over 200 dark stores in all the cities that we operate in. We saw that, the traction from a customer point of view for Country Delight customers, because our customers typically have 70-80% of their consumption within our product range, like their household consumption. So for them we wanted to be available through the day as well, and that's why we started uh, quick com version for. But we are not available for a 10-minute delivery when you come as a new customer. The first time you come, we want you to, if you require a milk and if you require a subscription, that is when that is the use case with which we expose ourselves. And once you choose that, okay, I like a few Country Delight products, now I want all the convenience formats available, that's when we show the instant format. But instant delivery or 6 minute 10-minute delivery is a habit that's here to stay.
Yeah. So adapting to customer habits is that 7-8%, which is interesting. Now, Deep, I see you smiling as well. I think you have some thoughts as well. Would love to hear yours as to if a brand can build sort of a competitive advantage over, let's say, a platform or a distribution channel like quick commerce.
Yeah, of course. You think it's a simple answer here. I think wherever the consumer is, we have to be there. Like initially when it's like saying how when marketplaces came in initially, there was a lot of dialogue. I remember some of the early conversations that I had, very few that I've had with the VC world, were about saying, will you be? I don't think consumers will be buying period products online. It's such a taboo topic. Will she? We don't know how will you deliver. Will it come in a brown box, etc., etc. There was a time when that was there, but today it's the norm. Now quick commerce is replacing some of those buying behaviors. So my view on this is absolutely, yeah, if I would want everything on yesterday basis, that's where quick commerce is headed. So our consumers, wherever they are, we have to be there. In fact, to talk to you also, Chakri, you should place some Sirona products on the app. As proud user of your app, you need to return the favor. So yes, reverse pitching is done. My agenda is successful.
Yeah, thanks. So, and the one important thing which I think Chakri also touched on is getting that brand out, getting that high market share, right? Growing market share. How do you solve for the trust component? This is both for you and Deep. How do you solve for that customer trust, right? Over sustained over a period of time. How do you solve for that? In, let's say, for founders who are building in new categories, trying to get into the market, what would your advice be to them?
That's the first thing you have to solve for, in my understanding. It's trust is like what you're saying you're giving. Like, it's very simple, in very simple words, what you're saying you're delivering. So if you don't solve for that, you will have a leaky bucket issue where where customers come, they try you and they leave. But if you want customers to repeat, you have to have a product which consistently delivers, product or a value proposition which consistently delivers the same thing over and over and over again, no matter what. Without that, it is very difficult. No matter small or big is very secondary, but for sustaining or for surviving or for being there, that is the first and the most important thing that I believe any business requires.
Right.
Yeah, we were purely built on customer trust. We didn't start with much money, and raised money fairly late in our life. So the only thing that we had were these few consumers who we initially were able to get because of Peabody being so different. It was, and we used it to our advantage because it became a conversation starter in a taboo category. And that also gives you a lot of responsibility to say that if you've tasted success by breaking one taboo, you need to now be super authentic about your mission. And the only way you can do this then is by ensuring that whatever consumer is searching for, whatever solution they're searching for, independent of whether you are offering a straight solution, you should be able to answer at least those through your content. So initially, when we did not even have period products, we were looking at the Google trends on what girls were searching for, and we started creating content. That gave us a lot of credibility. A lot of consumers started recommending Sirona as the app or as the website, I'm sorry, to go to solving any unaddressed feminine hygiene issue. So I think be authentic, create a lot of content around what your consumer is searching for, and please institutionalize keeping in touch as a mechanism if you can. You know.
Right. So solved for trust and then through authenticity, of course, and then consistently delivering those. Now, to that point, let's say a brand has built that, right? Where do you see, Milind, how will the 3PL market, not delivery in general, but how will the 3PL market shape up to enabling more brands going forward?
Got it. So basically about the future
Yeah.
in general. Got it. So I think, of course, Malab, we have spoken about quick commerce a lot. Now it's something I want to double click on. But I think interesting trends. Of course, I think one, brands in India in general are going global. I think that's one interesting theme. So from 3PL point of view, I think a lot of value addition can be done there, right from helping brands sell to global customers and of course also helping them with the sourcing bit. So for example, of course, we know China is the world's manufacturing plant. So of course, probably, so for example, just talking about delivery. So delivery is uh, running China to India lanes. They have air cargo. They're trying to do something on the shipping container side as well. So I think that is one interesting theme. And of course, I think a 3PL has to evolve continuously, whatever trends are changing, be it quick commerce right now in 2024-25, be it something else in 2030. I think we have to evolve, we have to keep on changing, whatever is the flavor of the season at that time. So yeah, I think at least that's my take, well, short take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for that. So, and ending, so would love to sort of know from all of you guys as to what new age brand has entered your homes.
You- mm,
Do you have answer for that?
I can go ahead.
We can live with Sirona.
okay. Why don't you guys go? I'll just think about
Okay.
it a little.
So,
Yeah.
so of course, the Mokobara is there, so I use the bag. Uh, Another one from Sauces portfolio, I use Whole Truth a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, I think recently I also started consuming yoga bars, protein. They've recently launched that, so that came to my mind. And of course, I think Lenscut. This is Lenscut. So, so yeah, I think few of the brands which came to my mind.
No, I mean Mokobara I'm using and uh, even Lenskart in within family. Like I think these
Yeah,
are very common. I,
we
I can't think
keep getting
anything
portfolios.
very specific
Yes.
top of my mind at least right now.
Okay, I think we have Nook, which is into modern kitchen appliances
Yeah.
category. Uh, Bags, of course, Mokobara, great brand, but I have Road Gods, which has this ghost as the brand. Which other brand? Let's live with two.
Yeah, let's live it too. That's good enough. But we keep having reference of lens cart everywhere. So I think we should be Chiratae. At Chiratae, we should be happy about that. But thanks all of you.